A few years ago, a close friend of mine really pushed me to start making YouTube videos. But I didn't have a camera then, so I wasn't really sure how to start out. But I did have a Samsung S6 in my pocket. And so that's what I started using to make YouTube videos with. Then eventually I moved on to an iPhone 6s, then onto an iPhone XS, and now I'm here with the iPhone 13 mini. And the reason why I ended up going to the iPhone 13 mini is because the iPhone XS is showing its age, and also there are some features on the iPhone 13 mini like cinematic mode that I was really interested in checking out. Now, how come I don't use a real camera? Well, that's quite a loaded question. So let's go ahead and talk about that now. So how come I don't use a camera? Well, it's partially due to laziness because I don't want to do the research to figure out the difference between mirrored versus mirrorless, different sensors, when to use a specific camera for low lighting versus another camera. And also, a lot of that stuff is way above my actual skill set. So I'm not a professional videographer or photographer. I have no intention of being, and honestly, this YouTube channel is more of an advanced hobby than it is something to actually be my full-time job or replace my full-time job or anything like that. It is just a channel that I do mostly for fun. And the reason why I am still using camera phones to this day is because, well, I get to use the phone and texting and all the other features that come along with the phone, as well as get access to some pretty sweet camera features, I suppose. So I guess now the real question is, well, why do I use an iPhone 13 mini as opposed to the iPhone Pro or Pro Max? Well, honestly, those things are expensive, and because this is just a simple YouTube video, I feel like investing in those phones just isn't really worth it. Especially when you look back at some of my previous videos and how I mostly do 99% of the time indoor filming, and something like that just would be overkill. And I honestly wouldn't know what to do with the hardware if I had it. Yeah, it would be cool, but there's a learning curve there as well that I have to really get into to figure things out. And that's not really a big deal because I could easily learn, but I just don't want to spend the money. In fact, one day, if this channel does get big enough, I kind of want to just hire somebody that would do videography for me, and I'd buy them a nice camera for the channel, obviously, and hopefully they would be able to figure it out. I'd probably end up buying them multiple cameras because, yeah, you photographer people are very into your craft, which is good. Well, how come I didn't get an Android camera phone? Well, honestly, I'm so ingrained into the Apple ecosystem that it just doesn't really make sense, because when I'm done taking pictures and videos, I typically just airdrop those over to my Mac and call it a day. People complain that airdrop's really slow, but honestly, I guess with the video sizes that I'm working with, it doesn't seem to matter or make me feel that it's slow, if that makes any sense. And Lightning port is slow by today's standards, especially when you consider that's technically USB 2.0. So those speeds are kind of slow, but again, I just haven't noticed. And honestly, I just send the videos over and walk away and go do something else anyway, because I don't really like to make videos and then immediately start doing the edits and all that junk on my MacBook or Mac Mini. I keep saying MacBook out of habit, but it's actually Mac Mini. And so here we are today with the iPhone 13 mini. I'll probably be using this phone almost exclusively moving forward, mainly because it will be my only camera phone. Well, that's not true. I will be keeping the iPhone XS, but that will probably be for multiple viewing angles. And I will be using cinematic mode because I think that looks really cool and interesting. I don't know how you guys will feel about it. This will be the second video I've made with cinematic mode, so I'm interested to hear y'all's opinions moving forward in the future about cinematic mode. I intend on using it as much as possible or whenever applicable, and I will also be using this mode when I just kind of want to capture everything without having too much blurriness of the background or whatever that's called. And I think for like B-roll, I'll also just be using the standard video footage. With some of the testing I've done with the iPhone 13 already, it seems like the sensor on here already just brings a lot more clarity, as well as, I guess, just more color or saturation. I don't know what the right words are. And I'm pretty happy with it so far. It already seems like a pretty nice jump from the iPhone XS. And I think it would make a really good YouTube camera to use in the future, not just for me, but for anyone that may just be getting into making YouTube videos. Now, you don't have to get an iPhone. I'm sure Google or one of the other Android options has something competitive, if not better than iPhone. But the fact still remains that you can definitely make videos with an iPhone or Android phone. And my channel is not really a great example of this because I only have 3,000 subscribers. But the point of this channel is not to be, the next big tech channel. It's just a hobby channel. So I think something like this is about perfect. Now, if we do end up growing in the future and I need something a bit more professional, hopefully I can just hire somebody to take all of the research that I'd have to do out of the equation. This video isn't supposed to be a review about the iPhone 13 mini. There are plenty of channels out there who do a much better job than I will with that kind of stuff, but I did want to talk about it a little bit anyway. The reasons why I bought the iPhone 13 mini are, of course, because it is small form factor, it fits in my pocket, it's plenty powerful. I don't intend to play games, so that's not really a concern for me because I haven't played games since like the iPhone 6S era, and also it has a great camera, of course. Now, it does have 5G, but in my area that's pretty hit or miss, and in fact, when it works, it seems to work just the same as 4G. It's very quick and all that jazz, and I don't really consume a lot of content on my phone anyway, so as far as download speeds and upload speeds, it seems pretty quick. Watching YouTube videos at 1080p is definitely possible depending on where you are, but I'm sure that it says that I'm at 5G when really I'm at 4G in some spots, because when I try to watch 1080p YouTube videos, it just doesn't work very well at all, and there's a lot of buffer time to that. But that's not really an iPhone thing, that's more of a 5G network thing. So back to the phone, of course, the display is awesome. It's very bright and crisp. I have no idea if it's 60 hertz or 120 hertz. I think it's 60 hertz, and it might even be that variable refresh that Apple does, where only specific apps can run at certain hertz or refresh rates. So it could be running at less than 60. I have no idea. I don't really look at my phone that often. The most use it ever gets, in general, all of this is true for most of my phones anyway, is when I'm making YouTube videos and I'm not actually interacting with the screen anyway. So yeah, not a real big, phone snob like a lot of people. I think they're all great phones nowadays, especially today from Android and all the other manufacturers. It's pretty much hard to go wrong, and I think it just comes down to personal operating system preference. And for right now, mine is with iOS, and that's mainly because it's integrated all into the Apple environment or ecosystem. So I will probably continue using iPhones for quite a while. I don't really intend on switching out. I would like to give Androids a try in the future, but I'm not going to go out of my way and actually buy one because I don't really need it, and the phones that I currently have are really good. The real reason we're out here is mainly because it's a cool backdrop, at least in my opinion. It's pretty sweet to see the old historic testing site here on Redstone Arsenal, and I also think it's a good test to feel out the iPhone 13 mini. I still have the XS, and I will still be using that from time to time, but I wanted to give you guys something a little bit different because I've been in that studio for a long time, and the backdrop doesn't really ever change, but we will be changing it here shortly. It's sort of under construction at the moment. It won't be anything too drastic, but nonetheless, we're really here just for a backdrop change, and partly because I want to see how the iPhone 13 performs outside, and also how it does with cinematic video and regular video. Alright, well, I guess we're going to wrap up here, and the last shot will be with cinematic mode to kind of get a feel for how it would look if I had a huge, beautiful background behind me that you guys probably can't see. I have no idea because I can't see cinematic mode from here, and I will only be able to look at it upon review. But anyway, as always, guys, I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. And of course, if you have any questions about this video, feel free to drop some comments below and ask. Peace. I know I said the video was over, but I kind of lied. So I did also want to grab some comparison shots between the XS and the iPhone 13 mini. And so that's what you're going to see now is a couple of shots with both phones, just to kind of give me an idea of what to expect. Both of these should be in SDR or standard definition. And obviously also this video is just me playing around and taking a look at both cameras, not at the same time necessarily, but just trying to give myself an idea of what to expect in the changes, and also trying to get familiar with cinematic mode, which, as you may have noticed in the video, there's a lot of work that I need to do to improve on that. But as far as standard video goes, it's actually pretty weird because I feel like I'm in front of a green screen or whatever. But anyway, I'll let you guys figure out which ones are the iPhone XS shots and which one are the iPhone 13 mini shots. I'm pretty sure you can guess 100% of those on your own without me actually telling you, because in my opinion, there's a pretty big difference. All right, now seriously this time. See you later. And here comes someone to ruin the day.